Get ready for a special Town to Town Halloween edition in Cresco. Your great-grandpa started the bank.
He started the bank with 12 other business people back in 1888.
The people here, our employees are great.
Who can you give credit to most the last 40 years? I mean, it's probably a combination of a lot of things, but...
Well, I think that's probably easy to sum up as probably one word, would be Rachel.
The favorite reasons, I guess you could say, of owning a business in Cresco.
People, my customers.
We're at the downtown location. This is the Cresco Theater Opera House. Is this place haunted?
Look, it danced.
Stenciled the ceiling. They will tell you that it's haunted, that they would be on the top and they'd hear a woman scream.
And she will, down there in the corner of the theater, she will see a man standing.
Do you believe that this place is haunted? Look what I found.
Oh. They're everywhere.
Seen it?
Oh my gosh.
What? I'm Chris Nelson.
I knew I was scared to come over here, Chris.
I left TV news and weather to go on an adventure and find interesting people. A town isn't just a town on a map. It has stories to tell. Downtowns to see. Guess where I'm at? I am in Norris Springs, Iowa. And people to meet. It's Town to Town with Chris Nelson.
Mitchell County Regional Health Center, Osage, St. Ansgar, Riceville. Appointment same day or next day. Mitchell County Regional Health Center, your trusted healthcare partner.
If you see one Iowa town, you have seen them all. I heard this from a viewer once while traveling, and in my adventure, they all have a story. Each community had a start, a reason it exists, and folks passionate about its survival. Just tell us about the chicken nuggets that you had at lunch. Let's be honest, Cresco, Iowa is no different. It's the largest city in Howard County with close to 4,000 residents. Not a major metropolis by any means. However, its downtown is a host to a number of businesses, including a donut coffee shop, clothing counter, a few restaurants and bars, and a number of other assorted businesses that keep this local economy flowing.
Cresco is made up of wonderful families that own and operate businesses, and these businesses support each other and work together to create jobs for the community and to create events and memories for a family.
Meet Katie Ferry. Friendly, right? Vice President and Marketing Director at Cresco USB. She can't say enough positive things about the city she was born and raised in, and also her longtime employer.
I feel it is a privilege to work at a family-owned institution. They care about your family, they care about you as an individual, whether you're going through like wonderful things, a birth, a wedding, happy times in your life, or if you're going through sad times, a divorce or a death. These people that work here in our ownership really care about all their employees and make you feel like you're part of their family.
The Thompson family has run this company for more than 130 years, a history that stretches back 5 generations to 1888, when current president and CEO John Scott Thompson's great-grandfather, Robert Thompson, founded the bank. So your father, your grandpa, and your great-grandpa,
Yes.
right, were all involved. So your great-grandpa started the bank.
He started the bank with 12 other business people back in 1888. And he originally came from Cumnock, Scotland. And as a child, he had a 6th grade education, lived in a stone home with a dirt floor with a big fireplace, and he worked in a steel mill. And when he had enough money, he took a steamship over here ended up working for H.J. Heinz Ketchup. And apparently he was pretty good at his job because he had gone to Mr. Heinz and said, "Mr. Heinz, I'd like to buy your business." And he said, "I'm sorry, but I have a succession plan, a lot of kids and grandchildren, and I'm sorry."
It's that bold mentality driving this bank onward. Mr. Thompson has been in the banking biz for 40 years, and it's time to give another person a crack at the top.
I actually have a gentleman who's going to be taking over for me next year, and his name's Mike Reese, and he's a spectacular student of the game of banking. Mike is, he thinks more of the bank, I think, sometimes than our own family does, and you can't ask for more than that.
What does Scott and Cresco USB stand for? It's all about their clients and customers. A gentleman working for the bank was burned out, but was worried about not having health insurance.
I'll make you this deal. I'll pay for your next 2 years of health insurance, 1 year at a time. You give me the bill. But I said, when you're around, I want you to go and help us.
There's also a program where employees work at community events. Bank leaders encourage these employees to serve on a number of boards. Those boards wouldn't exist without these people. Cresco USB is known for donations and giving back to a number of charities. My guess is with this philosophy, the Thompson family will be looking down on the next 130 years of growth. And before I left, I had to check out this cool drive-through window. Check this out. So they have a walk-up teller. What does that mean? Let's go look. Walk-up teller, drive-up teller. Hi. So this is a walk-up teller. I can just walk in and do my transaction instead of driving. Wow. Ah! Money may change hands. The banking business continues down the road at Cresco Bank and Trust, a bank that offers service in all realms of the money business, including to help farmers.
October is always my favorite time of the year. For about 25 years now, we've gone out and done what we call combine chasing. And what we do is we catch up with our farmers when they're out in the field harvesting their crop, and we try to give them a gift like a hat, gloves, candy bar, a bottle of pop, and thank them for their business because we appreciate our farmers.
Talk about a cool way to tell your customers thank you. By the way, that's Donna Thomas, president and Cresco Bank and Trust employee for almost 4 decades. The president for 25 of them. She loves her job, her employees, and her city. What makes Cresco so special that you wanted to stay here?
That's where I was born and raised, and my entire family lives here. And I have a big family.
How big?
11 siblings.
11? Donna realizes the importance of being involved in the community, too.
Well, we support the community in many ways, both financially, and our employees are very active in the community. You know, it's been a little tougher this year with COVID to be volunteers, but we're on as many of the major boards as we can be on. The employees are great about volunteering.
The bank hosts a variety of employees, including Andy. How long have you been here?
Let's see, 8 years.
8 years? She didn't fire you, huh?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Been a couple close calls.
I bet. Andy is clearly kidding, of course. There's a reason why he has chosen to make this bank his home for 8 years.
Well, I would say that what makes the bank special is, they give their employees an opportunity to continue to train and, prosper and move forward. And of course, on the customer side of things, I think we treat people real well. It's
impressive how long folks have worked here. It says a lot of how they treat their employees.
Vicki Sovereign, and I've been here for 38 years, and I am a consumer loan officer.
38 years.
I know.
I'm 36. With her experience at the bank, you know there's going to be some great storytelling from years past. An elderly woman was going into the safety deposit box at the bank and
we got talking about customer, and that this customer had passed away. And when we were walking in there, I was like, God, I just don't remember that customer. And she says, well, you'll know him next time he walks in. You died.
It's all about good memories, and I bet these employees will have plenty to look back on their time at Cresco Bank and Trust. Growing relationships and growing business that will take root and thrive in this close-knit community.
Roots know nothing comes from Ecuadorian areas like Costa Rica.
Well, there's a green thumb for you.
You do. It's difficult, but I gotta do it. Yeah.
And then there's this view. From the green at the bank to the actual green, the Gooder family has grown this gardening empire of sorts.
We're actually adding another 180 of these aluminum benches.
Another 180. You can see this isn't your typical greenhouse. It's several acres of gardening greens, cultivating an international business that stands the test of time in Cresco. That's John Gooder, and his parents, Mike and Rachel, have expanded an original Cresco greenhouse from the 1880s to what you see today, the Plant Peddler, a company now serving a worldwide community.
We went from a really small little mom and pop and we built a very internationally based company right now. So we import from about 20 countries globally. We work with breeders globally on genetics. We most recently have now entered a contractual agreement with Syngenta to bring new begonias to the market. So working with breeders to develop new product lines for the industry. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Mike Gooder is doing what he loves alongside the woman he loves and sharing that all with his son he loves. You get the picture. This is a family affair. Who can you give credit to most the last 40 years? I mean, it's probably a combination of a lot of things, but...
Well, I think that's probably easy to sum up as probably one word, would be Rachel. I mean, if I didn't have a good partner, and trust me, man, when you're in business for 40 years, there's challenges along the way, you know, and balancing the business and family, you know, like how you set those priorities.
Yeah, I think mom kind of keeps them in check.
Yeah.
Checks and balances.
What side are you on? Or are you a perfect
Depends
mix?
on the situation.
Okay.
I'd say I'm kind of the balance in between.
It's probably the safe place for John as he keeps busy at this workplace. While there's plenty of beauty around, this is a year-round, around-the-clock business, and not just a business, but a science. This is a family of trained horticulturalists. And each day, they also function as evolving entrepreneurs. Did you get all that? And for us, the customer, it goes far beyond what you see.
And so the cuttings come into us. We have to get them within 36 hours. We got to put them back in the ground within 36 hours. So we get the cutting in, and it's very minute, very small, and we stick them in a unit like this. I have to be very careful because I don't want to rip the roots out.
Oh, wow. That's a
Something
lot.
like that. And then when we keep this on the bench for 5 weeks.
Each one has to be placed in there like that.
By hand.
By hand.
Manual labor. All of these. So when we're doing 10 million cuttings, we have to do them all manually.
How many people are helping you do that?
A bunch.
Each minute literally counts. It's a true labor of love for the Gooders. A bountiful business for those in Cresco.
That's one of the things a lot of people in business lack, right, is they don't have clearly defined goals. We've always been about setting goals. You know, you always in the back of your head have a dream of what you're going to create, but you're, you know, in a very rural community, you know, and what you see that's gone on the last 40 years has really made it plausible for people like us to have businesses because we have access to internet, we have access to the international market, we have opportunities that often were not afforded to very rural businesses.
A family bringing their dreams to life day after day. For Mike, it's his hometown, his people, and he celebrates the opportunity to serve here, and ultimately on a global level. And believe me, he isn't taking a moment for granted, especially after putting his life goal on paper on a long ago college test.
I got A on the paper, but the professor, I'll never forget, said, please don't try this because you will fail. And I think that was the spark that said, I got to do it, right? I mean, you have that thing where somebody challenges you, challenges your idea, and so that really was the driving point for me. It's like, okay, we can do this.
Mike's neighbors know all about making dreams a reality. Marie Larson knows life is good at the Ox and Wren. The music is up, the smiles are on, and the staff? Yourself, someone that would die here?
Yeah, I suppose.
So we can likely say you were born
Crawl
here?
up in the corner and just
Well, hopefully not in here.
rot away or something.
Yeah. That's good. Well, they seem to have the right attitude when they come to work here.
I'm Maria's daughter.
What do you do here?
Just about everything.
So what's
I
your
guess.
position? Is it like stock girl, Cash register woman.
Cash register.
Vice president.
Yep, I'm vice president.
I'd go vice president.
Okay, yep.
Okay. Actually, Elizabeth is not VP. She does work here and happens to be the daughter of Maria Larson, the owner of Ox Ren Spirits and Gifts.
Came back.
Yeah, and you came back for a reason. Why?
I like small town. Everybody knows everybody. Good. That's a good and bad thing, but no, I just love it. I like small town.
Maria grew up in Cresco, remember? And like many, was drawn to the way of life here. And like Bob, he's been working here several years, and we think he likes what he does.
Good people. Good people. I've known Maria's mother, or she was my babysitter when I was a kid. We were neighbors.
So everyone does really know everyone in Cresco.
Seems like it.
Walking through the store, and you can see it gives any customer a variety of reasons to stop in. From a fully stocked cooler and unique liqueurs, to gifts and colorful trinkets. The Ox and Ren is really an experience waiting to happen.
People, my customers. I love people, and I love talking to them, getting to know them. My degree in college was social work, so here I am.
No joke, on April Fool's Day of next year, Maria celebrates 5 years at Ox and Ren. Congrats. Calling their community Iowa's year-round playground, it's time to check in with the men and women who are driven to market Cresco for the world to see. Jason Passmore, Executive Director for Howard County Business and Tourism, comes into play. He says they're an arm for the people and businesses in the community, helping in any way possible.
We can help in whatever ways. We have funds that are available, we write grants, we work on issues such as the number 2 biggest issues in Iowa, in our opinion, workforce and housing and workforce. We have a ton of jobs that are available. We try to connect dots to make that happen. And that's where we find a third leg of our stool being child.
Let's put it this way, and we're not diminishing Jason's job, but he's sort of the welcoming committee of Cresco. He helps those new to town and not only promotes, but also explains what's behind an excellent quality of life here.
Because you really enjoy the outdoors. You really enjoy all 4 seasons. You like a high quality of services and also a low cost of living.
Another neat piece of Cresco, the history. Meet Spiff. You want to know the inside and outside of what happened before you and I were living? Listen up.
Every town has a story, and we just have a cool little one in Cresco. We are the home to Norman Borlaug. You know, he's only one of 7 people that's been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, Congressional Gold Medal, Presidential Medal of Freedom. This is the 50th anniversary this year, 2020, of Borlaug being awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. We are the home to Ellen Church. She was a little girl that was born and raised in a little town of less than 4,000. And she went to Boeing and said, "Hey, I'm a pilot. I'd like to fly for you." And they went, "Ellen, you're a girl. That's for big, strong men." But undaunted, a few years later, she came back and said, "Hey, you're going to start this passenger plane concept?" She goes, "I'm a nurse. I think your passengers would be more comfortable if you had nurses on board." Now that they liked. So they gave her a little pilot program. They called themselves air hostesses. That rolled into the Pan Am stewardess and then into today's flight attendant. So here's a little girl that started a global industry, and she's from Cresco, Iowa. Very cool. We're the home to 5 admirals. 5 little boys grew up in this landlocked area to become admirals. In the military world, this is unprecedented.
We're at the downtown location. This is the Cresco Theater Opera House. We are going to go check inside to see if this is truly haunted. History this time of year is always fun. It brings out the goblins, the witches, and even the ghost stories. Our last stop for the day and night brings us maybe to the most historic part of town, the famous Cresco Theater and Opera House. Paranormal investigators and research rank this as one of the most haunted theaters in the Midwest and one of the most haunted locations in Iowa. My crew and I decided to not only do an in-depth analysis on its background, but we wanted to find out if it's truly haunted. No better place to start than the woman who runs the show here, Wendy. She's the manager at the theater. You ready? This is your place. You've had this for 6 years. Just about?
Nope, it's been over 6 years.
It's been over
So
6
I'm
years.
creeping on 6.5.
How does it feel to have a place like this in a small community that, first off, embraces you and wants you to succeed? It's like you walk in here, you can book anything, it's got history. You are lucky to have something like this in a small town.
This is humbling to be tasked or to be granted the privilege of running it, and it's kind of exciting. It's like you're given this blank canvas and said, run with it. When I first started, I was terrified because literally I didn't have toilet paper holders, I didn't have a vendor for candy.
They know they picked the right person for the job.
They were hiring for a part-time theater manager, and Dean had the radio station, and I needed something part-time to fill my time, and I applied for it because growing up in the city, I was given the opportunity to go to theater, to go to live entertainment. My theater teacher took us to plays and live entertainment all the time. I was involved in theater in high school, and I just loved that culture. I had a passion for theater. So when I interviewed, it wasn't your standard like 15 question interview. We just talked about what I could see, what I would dream for it. But what I interviewed for was so much less than what I do.
I'll remind you, this is Wendy's favorite place. To bring your 5 senses into it, this place has a warm, cozy feeling to it. It's powerful.
It's just an incredible building. It's an older style building. It's designed kind of like the Chicago Theater in Chicago. It was built in 1914. This painting, this remodel, was done in 2016. We had some moisture issues on the east wall. And so the Really brothers came in to fix everything. And it took a couple years to get the moisture issue under control and resolve. In that process, we ended up with a new ceiling as well. They took all the acoustic tile down and ended up taking down the plaster and lath above it. In that process, they said, well, let's do all, we had to repaint it anyhow, so let's pick out colors. We kind of let them run with it.
Wendy has really revved up the amount of talent in the theater coming in years past. How many plays or performances will you have?
Before we were out of COVID, I think I had 8 or 9 last year. That's just live entertainment. That doesn't include the concerts.
This isn't just a home for theatrics in actual life. Legends are told that the Cresco Theater and Opera House is haunted. So I've done some research. Is this place haunted?
I've been told yes.
You've been told yes. By one person, 2 people?
Lots of people.
Lots of people. She had me right there. My first experience here over a month ago had me sold. Wendy gave me a quick tour, and the places that should be quiet were not. I knew I had to come back. I had to hear more.
Lots of stories.
Okay.
So the Really brothers that decorated in here, that painted, so there would have been floor-to-ceiling scaffolding, because they stenciled the ceiling. They will tell you that it's haunted, that they would be on the top and they'd hear a woman scream. That they'd go in the basement to rinse paint buckets because we have a wash sink down there, and they would hear people running when it was just it would be Dennis. And
every haunted location has quote-unquote hot spots. Typically, they're in spots during life where someone is hurt, killed, emotional, lots of energy. So who really resides here?
There's a young child in the balcony. Genderless, I've not been told that. That there is an older gentleman in this area who likes me. He's affirmed that he likes me, thinks I'm doing a good job.
And who did you hear that from?
Odyssey Paranormal Investigations.
Okay.
There's a sound clip on the line that I asked him. I will show you that website later. I've heard from years past that he's a vaudeville era guy, that they've seen him walking up and down the aisle, and that there's a woman on stage. Her name is Dolores.
You with us, Dolores?
And she doesn't like men.
So You're telling me to be careful?
She'll just tell you to shut up and go away.
It's not like I've never heard that one before. Okay.
That is what I have been told. I have never ever had any experience that would make me.
So we have. Let me set this straight. We have the balcony child upstairs. We have an older gentleman in the front rows, right?
Somewhere down there.
Somewhere down there. And then behind the camera, we have Dolores, who dislikes men. I myself, Dolores, I'm going to spend some time up here. Because my job tonight is to see if this place is haunted.
Compliment one lady on her mustache and everything goes around.
You have a lot in common. You just don't realize it.
There's more.
All I said was, I really
Yeah, they're like everywhere.
Even before we could get started, the ghosts were making themselves known with orbs. Orbs are balls of energy believed to be associated with the paranormal at haunted locations. And by the way, that's Alex talking to me about his experiences at the theater. He's a business owner and current city council member. He's been around the theater plenty during his lifetime. How are you affiliated with the theater?
I volunteer here a lot. I've helped out with various remodelings, especially, the auditorium remodeling, being a part of that. Did the Champlin Hall renovation with another gentleman, did the lobby renovation with the rest of the commission, and then I spearheaded the effort for the marquee restoration. We've got a 1941 marquee out in front. It was in pretty poor shape, not only structurally, but the neon wasn't working, the reader board face, the area where you set the letters and whatnot on, was in dilapidated condition, and I went through, found a vendor to do the paint work, to do the structural work, to do the now LED work, and we changed it from neon over to LED.
All great stuff, but let's get right to the question now. Do you believe that this place is haunted?
I have never witnessed anything myself. However, I know that there's other people that claim that they've witnessed things or they've had things. We've spent countless hours and evenings in this building. And while I've never experienced it, other people say that they have. The big joke with the Cresco Community Theater was when they were doing a show, there'd be a nail in the stage that'd pop up randomly. And they'd say, oh, the ghosts are messing with us. Or they'd leave, they'd say, well, we better leave a light on because otherwise the ghosts will be unhappy.
CEO, that would be something, wouldn't it? I want it so much.
Someone who is a believer and has experienced the paranormal in this building, Tara Henry. By day, she's a teacher, and at night, one of her passions, theater. Do you believe? Are there ghosts that preside here at the theater?
Absolutely.
Walk us through a couple of these experiences.
The costume room is probably the hot spot, I would say. When you're up there, you can feel things move. There's drafts and things move.
Things move?
Things move. I think that they like to kind of mess with us a little bit. Props will move and costumes will move, and no one has been there or touched them. So that's really interesting. They like to tease us a little. Sometimes you'll be on stage and some of the seats will be down.
She has stories of others too having experiences at the theater. Any other big stories besides you that you've heard in terms of the paranormal here at the theater?
Yes, our costume director, Ellen Murphy, has been in this theater many, many, many years, and oftentimes by herself. And she will, down there in the corner of the theater, she will see a man standing when she's walking by. There was a long time where she felt okay being here alone, and now she likes to have company.
One thing about Tara, she doesn't feel threatened at all by the paranormal activity here.
It's not something, as actors, we talk about a whole lot. It's just sort of, they're just here.
And you just embrace it.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yep. And nobody feels really negative vibes or anything like it would be hurtful. So nobody feels that.
It's almost like that rail or that portrait up there.
Yeah.
The ghosts are just part of the building.
They are.
And you don't even think of it. You don't even think twice of it.
No, and then people from the outside will say, well, don't you get scared? Because I'm here by myself, or I'll come, some shows I come at 2 o'clock to start getting ready, and I'm here alone, and I'm like, no, it's very peaceful.
It's time for us to find out what this potential haunted location has to offer. A reminder, we are not using ghost hunting gear, just our senses and cameras. If you look at the building from the outside, it has 4 stories, including the basement. We spent the night getting to know the theater at a more intimate level. I started by getting all the lights off in the theater. It appeared we were not alone.
All the lights except the backstage are off. Everything's off. See how quickly I moved there?
Holy crap.
What? Seen anything?
Oh my gosh.
What?
They are going crazy all over when you walk.
Seriously?
Yeah. Holy crap.
I tried more to fire up the ghost in the building, but as quickly as they were around, they were gone quickly too. The next spot, which is said to be one of the most haunted areas in the building, the costume room. We had quite an experience there. The hot spot is the old apartment. We're going to turn on. We'll see if we can get it.
I thought you turned these off.
Costume room. Mary said when you were walking up to the stage, I saw someone cross the stage. We'll have to go back and look.
Is that me? Okay. Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody with us in here? Did anybody follow us? Ooh. Did anyone follow us from downstairs up here?
2, 3, 4, 5.
By me?
6.
Between you and us.
7, 8. 9, 10.
I'm not seeing anything. It's freezing cold over here.
11, 12, 13, 14.
We were clearly having luck in this hotspot, so I decided to put on a costume to see if they would come out and play with me.
Here they come.
So last time, oops.
It's like
They're
all over.
Last time I put this on, this is kind of an old-fashioned jacket and an older hat. We had a flood of different orbs that came out. So we're going to try this again and see if this works.
There's a lot, Chris.
A lot?
Yeah. Not like last time, but there's a lot.
Since I put this on?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why don't we have one of you ladies try one of these on?
Alright, let's that's really good with your dress.
So sassy.
Then we decided to look for more costumes in that costume room by opening this closet door.
Oh. Big pink one just went floop.
What did I open?
Hats.
It's hats and shoes.
Oh.
There's a crown in there.
Good look for you.
Good luck. It goes really good.
Where's the crown? Chris, we have a hat we want you to try on. Here.
There's a lot over here.
This is a special hat.
Okay. We then had a small incident where the camera was not on, where my photographer Christina got super cold and had to take a break. The costume room continued to be active. Tara almost fell on the stairs.
That was a big one.
Yeah. There's ortho. See?
These things are everywhere.
They come and go.
No.
This one is crazy.
No, like.
You gotta record this.
Look. It danced.
Dance for us.
Oh. Chris.
What? What?
They're everywhere.
I assume that this would be a house fire. I swear I heard someone walking.
You hear that?
I think we need to go upstairs.
We wanted more direct evidence besides orbs. So, we moved on to the basement. Tara, Alex, and Wendy all agreed there haven't been as many stories there. However, Christine and I both had an experience earlier when a door opened on its own slightly. We ventured down there. Like you did earlier. Move the door. I swear it's moving.
Furnace.
Earlier during the investigation, we set up a doll with one eye open in the storage room. We decided to see if anything happened.
The non-believer says we're leaving if that happens.
Here, you can open it. I don't know which key.
Oh.
I don't like dolls or any of those creepy things that stare.
Well, it doesn't have red hair or overalls. So.
That's the right one.
Like teddy bears or...
Yep. Both the frickin' eyes are open. Are you kidding me?
Nuh-uh.
No, just the one.
Oh, that's gonna be really creepy B-roll.
It's been quite the experience here in Cresco, Iowa. From the light of day to what comes out to play at night. It's a community that's proud of its history and excited about the future. If the past generations could see, which they may have tonight, I believe they would be proud of what the current residents have done to the city and their infrastructure in 2020. Thank you to the good folks of Cresco for inviting me to their town for an intimate adventure. Until next time, I'm Chris Nelson. Always look up, and God bless.